the Apprentice lives. These are Korbanth the Tanos, and you're about to find out if these are the best lightsabers we've ever reviewed. Hey nerds, welcome back to the Fellowship of the Nerds. I am your host as always, Luke Skywalker. Today we have a really special one. Like I said at the beginning, this might be the best lightsaber we've ever reviewed. This is Korbanth the Tanos, done by Lightsabers. This thing is ridiculously cool. Come with me to check out the unboxing of this, and we're going to compare it with our Ultimate Works that we've seen before. You can see the full review. It'll be coming up on the screen somewhere here or whatever. You want to check that, and you want to see this comparison with this unboxing, because this thing is phenomenal. And you're going to be wanting to get the answer to the question, is this the best lightsaber we reviewed in the Fellowship of the Nerds? Come with me. Okay, this is the Korbanth Tanos, which are done by Lightsaber. They used to do one with Shadow Foil props, which was really cool as well, but this is amazing. I think that this and the Thrawn Hunters from KR are probably the best Ahsoka Tanos out there, and you're about to see why. And I do think that between both of them, I would choose these over the Thrawn Hunters, and I'll also explain why in a second. But I just want to show you what comes inside. So you're going to get your both hilts. You already have the little adapter for your blades in. You'll have the blade plugs, which are beautiful. Now, these adapters, if we remove the hilts, and you're going to see here the type of brush that they have, they're really cool. You're going to see in a little bit what the Ultimate Works looks like, just to remind you, so you can see the differences. But this is amazing. This is a very long one. It's absolutely cool. And this is our Shoto. We're also going to put up to the side. Now inside, like I said, you're going to have the blade plugs. And if you keep going on the box, you're going to have, here's where the, of course, the ones that are already put in will go, and these little ones. You'll have these. Now, these are also adapters, but you'll get less depth with it. So like you're going to get 1/2 inch with these, but you will be able to put your blades in them, because you see there that they have retention screws. So if you want to not have something that looks like this, because I think this kind of takes away from the on-screen look, then you can use the other ones, which I think is great that Elf made that, because I think nobody else does. And you'll only have 1/2 inch with these. You have 1 inch depth, so you have really good depth there to put your blades in. But the other ones you can, and the blades will hold. The only thing is that it's kind of like a thin neck, say like, you know, Luke or Obi-Wan and stuff. You definitely would not be able to be doing any light sparring with it, or you shouldn't, because you know you could risk your blades and your lightsaber. You're gonna get your charger, you're gonna get your Allen wrench. Okay, we got the box out of the way. I just want to measure these for you folks. So these go, obviously these are not straight, so we're gonna have just to go from like the base here. Let's move this a little bit. From the base to, not gonna count this, just gonna count to where the blade plug starts. So that is 35 centimeters length, and this one would be 24.5 centimeters in length. And then let's see how thick they are. I'm gonna bring this. I'm not gonna measure both because they're gonna be exactly the same, of course. But there you go, 5 inches thick. So keep that in mind when we do the Ultimate Works ones. And with our scale, you're gonna have our long hilt at 440 grams, and we're going to have the Shoto at 331 grams. And that's with the blade plugs on. Now, to access your chassis, and the reason why I consider this to be superior to the Thrawn Hunters before we move over to the Ultimate Works is very simple. You don't need any tools, which I think it's the thing that makes this superior. Like, you don't need anything, you just need your hands. And look at that. You're just gonna remove the screw. You're gonna remove magnet, which is very, very tight in there. I think that's very good. It's a very powerful magnet. And then you're just going to access your kill switch, you're just gonna turn it over. There's your kill switch. I'm not gonna turn it on because it doesn't have any battery right now. That's it. You will turn it on, put it back in, done. You put this back on, and do this. And for the Shoto, it's pretty much the same. So you remove the screw, but this one would be upwards, and boom, there's your kill switch right there. And again, batteries are not in because I've been charging them because, as you will know, usually Korbanth sends these out only with some 2% of battery. So once you get them, you want to remove the battery, charge it, which is right now where it is being charged, and then you'll be able to use it in full. Let's move over to the Ultimate Works just so we can measure them and you can have a really good comparison on what where everything stands. But I do already believe that these are, at least this one is longer, thinner, and lighter, I think. And I would dare to say that this is even lighter than the other, because the Shoto of the Ultimate Works is heavy. But let's have a look. Okay, now here we have the Ultimate Works Hilts. Now these feel a bit shorter, a fit wider, so or thicker, I would say. So in terms of length, you have here, it's either 32 centimeters, 13 inches on the long, and the Shoto is almost 25, 24 and a half, almost 10 inches, like 9.8, I want to say, something like that. And in terms of how thick they are, we're going to use this. Well, let's see, that's a little over 5 inches thickness, and I'm gonna guess that this is gonna be pretty much the same, or they should be pretty much the same. Let's see, yeah, 5.1.2. Now in terms of weight, Shoto weighs 371 grams, and long Hilt weighs 438 grams, and these are carrying Profi cores inside, and these are the Profi cores that are from, well, pre-kit. So if you want it, you could change this to an exterior core and it'd be absolutely fine. The exterior cores usually weight the same, so there's that. So this is when it comes to all the technical comparisons with the Ultimate Works. And here they are. Look at this. Look at this. Fantastic. Really, really phenomenal set. Like this thing. Guys, this is a work of art, I have to say. Absolutely nice. Now, I want to draw your attention to, for example, this. Right? These colors. If you saw when we were doing the comparison, the colors of this on the Ultimate Works are entirely different. They're much darker. This is just not right, in my opinion. Same with this. They're different. They're black, and they have black accents and stuff, and they're not correct. These are exactly as they should be as per the encyclopedia. But also, I want you to see the play block. Right? I'm going to turn these on.
What's the lesson, Master?
Ridiculously, you don't see anything through them when they're on.
I choose to live. It's not for you yet.
But also when you turn them off, you don't see anything through them, so you cannot see inside. I think they're phenomenal. And the reason for that is because this is two pieces actually instead of one. So like you have this, but see here, and this actually comes off. Like you can unscrew that if you wanted to, and that's absolutely cool. And of course, these don't have retention screws because these are the display, but the retention screws on the adapters, doesn't matter if you go for a long one or the short one, you'll have 3 retention screws around it, so it'll make it very secure, even though the shorter adapter probably is going to be a bit wonky. I'm guessing we'll see when we put the plates in, but like you will see how really cool they are. Also, like this is, as I show you in the unboxes, this is a piece that you need to remove after you remove your screw. But I would recommend that when you're pulling, you do it from the bottom. It will come off easier than if you do it from the top. If you try to remove this magnet from here, you're gonna struggle on it. But if you do it from down here, it's gonna come off a lot faster and easier. But yeah, once you have it, remember you have to unscrew this first. Then you can just pull out to be able to access your kill switch and put your battery and everything. And like I said on the unboxing, remember that when you get these, you need to put the you need to take the batteries out and charge it, because they only come with around 2%. Having said all of that, what do you say we put place on these bad boys? We take them outside and I'll show you how cool these are, because these are really, really cool.
What's the lesson, Master? Sense much fear in you. Where is your master?
There's hope for you yet.
That was really, really impressive. Now, I've got to say, it's sort of difficult to handle these two lightsabers. It's always been, if you've seen the reviews that we've seen the LGT, we've seen the Ultimate Works, we've seen this, which is going to be really the final ones, I think. Maybe not. Maybe we'll check out the TXQ. I don't know. Sound out in the comments if you want me to check that one out too. But I have to say that I've never found it easy to be going around, you know, these two sabers. But even though these are not really heavy, it really comes down to, you know, practice, and I haven't had that much practice. So there is that, you know, there's an element, because these are not heavy, right? And because these are thinner than the Ultimate Works, these are definitely more maneuverable than those were. So it's not really a matter of, it's not the fault of the saber, I'm trying to say, it's the fault of yours truly. So there is that. But this thing is really phenomenal. What we've done with this, you would have heard outside, we have done a mix of Soundfonts here. We've included K-Sith, we've included Reavers, which is the ones that you'll get always on Korbanth. We've included Kyberphonics. I've included pretty much all the ones that I think were really cool from for this lightsaber. But I just wanted to you know, point out that besides of that, you are going to get the usual fonts that you always get on Korbanth, and you can check out one of the many reviews that we've done so far to see all the full array of sound fonts. There are like over 30 sound fonts. So always, like I always say, just in terms of what a sound font costs, which always is around $10, right? So if you're getting 30, you're already getting like $300 worth of sound fonts as it is on Korbanth's lightsaber. So that alone, you know, price-wise, already makes it a very, very good thing. But having said that, let's carry on with this, and I just want to draw your attention to what we've done before I continue. So I told you in the unboxing that this had two types of adapters, right? They had this, which was the one for the shorter depth, and it had this, which is for the longer depth. We've used this one because you know, this is a longer hilt, but also because if you look at the blade plug of this sort of matches this. So I thought, you know, it kind of makes sense to use the longer one and then to use the shorter one on the shoulder. I can tell you right now that I do feel this one a little bit wobbly, and it's really well secured, but still is a little bit wobbly, which is kind of a fault that you'll get always on the thin necks and stuff. So, you know, when you don't get a lot of depth, you know, it's really not that great. So remember, like I said in the box, if you're using these sabers with the shorter one, do not spar with this, even if it's light, because I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that you'll risk damaging the core. You might damage the pins, but you definitely might damage your blade. So definitely don't do it. With the longer one, I think light pairing might be okay, but there is that. Now, something that I want to address before we get on to the sound fonts is whenever you're handling these, because those hilts are so long, especially this one, you're going to have severe problem with the button. It's just a one button, but you're not going to have a lot of issues handling this around. Like, I wouldn't think, unless you really want to, like, you know, you were very keen on handling the blade from here. I wouldn't. If you are, try to do it in reverse like this, But, you know, having such a long hilt to go all the way here where the button is, it'd be kind of weird, but, you know, up to you. I'm not going to tell what to do, but I think that if, and in the Shoto, you have also a lot of space down here before you even touch this little piece, so not a problem whatsoever. It should be absolutely fine. Now, moving on, let's go on with our Soundfonts and our ignition test now that we have it back inside. So we're going to start with the first one. This is Lady Tano from K-Sith.
What's the lesson, Master?
Absolutely cool, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, the one thing that I will say is it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when it comes to anything that's done by Elf. That's a one button, and it's the force effects that it's kind of tricky because you have to leave, press, and twist.
Not even your laser swords would be able to protect you from all that firepower.
So, you know,
Sense much fear in you.
it's not as simple as, you know, double press or something, or you have a dedicated aux button. So there's that. But other than that,
I choose to live.
insanely cool. Now we do the reverse ones.
I'm an old friend of the family.
Really, really, I like the smooth swing of the reverse, but you know, it doesn't have as much options when it comes to like force and quotes and stuff. So there's that. But I do like the humming and the swing. So that one's really cool. Let's carry on now.
Ahsoka Tano.
This is Chirophonics, if I recall correctly.
I'm not here to discuss my past. Trust in the Force.
Super cool.
Just like old times.
I think this is also K-Sith, I want to say, if I recall correctly.
A Mandalorian and a Jedi.
Oh, no.
They'll never see it coming.
It is not. I love this is from season 2 of Mandalorian, and I love it because of you hear that, you hear the hitting the best card. Absolutely cool.
Not even your laser swords would be able to protect you from all that firepower.
Super cool, guys.
This isn't just about finding Ezra. It's about preventing another war.
Super cool.
Surrender or face the consequences. Surrender or face the consequences. Where is your master?
Super cool, guys.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Absolutely amazing. Of course, I'm not going to bore you because we can keep going on and show you the Clone Wars one, so the Rebels one and everything. But like we pretty much put everything here, and you have all the rest of the Soundfonts from Chirophonics, which are the reverse ones. So they're absolutely cool. Now let's go over to our ratings, and for that, I'm just gonna have the one hill, if you don't mind. Now for ratings, let's start with Ergonomics, and I think Ergonomics, this is gonna get a 10. This thing is incredibly much more maneuverable than the Ultimate Works one. It's almost as maneuverable as the LGT, but the LGT was, so I shouldn't say it was almost, it's a little bit more maneuverable than the LGT. The LGT was more maneuverable than the Ultimate Works, just on the basis that, like this, it was a bit thinner and a bit longer, but that one was heavier. That one was more metallic, and I mean, this is metallic as well, but that one was more metallic, as in, I want to say like brute force metallic, so it's heavier. This is lighter, but it is metallic and it's beautiful, as you can see. But it does have so much maneuverability, right? That if I know for a fact that if I were to train with these a bit more, it'd be a lot easier for me to like get really good with the two, because they're really great. So ergonomics, they're gonna get a 10. And design, if I could give it an 11, I would, because this thing is incredibly cool. Like we've seen earlier, it does have the blade plug, the accurate blade plugs, because that was one thing that I really didn't like from Ultimate Works, is the fact that they try to hide this, which is the blade plug of the shoulder, and then they have to have they had one like this, but it was silver or whatever it was for the long hilt, instead of having this, which was the one that is more accurate. I mean, you've seen it on the Star Wars Lightsaber Collection Encyclopedia book. That's exactly how it should have been. And when we saw the Ultimate Works and I did the comparison, it wasn't quite right. Also, the length wasn't quite right. So design wise, and the fact that you get, like, you know, this adapter, the short adapter, the accurate blade plug, design wise, this is going to get a 10. Like, not even a question. And when it comes to sound, it is going to get a 10 for various reasons. Number one, it does bring an Ahsoka Soundfont, which is the reverse one. Absolutely cool, when we were able to install the ones that the other ones that we liked. So, you know, great there. But those are, you could do that with any lightsaber, right? So that wouldn't be a problem. The thing is how great this thing sounds, because it's really, even if you're only using one, and I'm just going to give you an example.
What's the lesson, Master?
You see, it sounds absolutely brilliant, absolutely perfectly. Fantastic, right? Like it's absolutely everything.
There's hope for you yet.
Everything you want it to be sound wise for a lightsaber. So it doesn't get too loud, it doesn't get too quiet. Perfect in every single way, and it does come with a correct sound font for the character. So, you know, really, and I mean, being Korbanth, you will get the Ahsoka Tano's, also the ones from the blue ones from the 7th season. You're gonna get the ones from the Clone Wars, the green and yellow one. So you're gonna get the animated. So like, you're gonna get everything. But the fact that it already brings one other character, which to me is a must. If you don't have that, you will never get a 10 in sound, except on, you know, if you really blow my mind away, but rare, but it can happen. But it has everything, so it's a 10. So if you add all of that together, you'll see it here, and I don't even need to add it for you guys. This is a perfect lightsaber. This is not only recommended by the Fellowship of the Nerds, but I consider this lightsaber to be a Grail. Like, I genuinely do. So with that said, you really must get this lightsaber. I cannot recommend you enough to get this set. So if you want to get this one from Korbanth, you can get it with 20% off by using our discount code Fellowship. You're going to see here, right here. You can knock 20% off of this. Absolutely great price, guys. Like, I honestly, like, I would struggle to find an excuse not to justify this purchase, because this thing is fantastic. Well, these things, these two, are really fantastic. These are ones that, like I said, they're not only recommended, to me, they're Grail. They're a must-have of lightsabers. And nerds, that's been our review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you find that useful. I hope that you are going to consider to get these, because they're really fantastic. If you prefer any of the other versions that we've seen so far, the LGT or the Ultimate Works, please do sound off in the comments, because I really love to see, you know, what some people's mind when it comes to why they would go for one lightsaber over another. I mean, you've seen the differences on the unboxing here, so you've seen what the differences are between this and the Ultimate Works. When we did the Ultimate Works, you saw the difference between that and the LGT. So, except if we do a TXQ, which, you know, I wouldn't put it past us, but if we don't, like, I think these are the ultimate set, and these are the ones that you should get. But let me know what you guys think. So please do sound off in the comments. Thank you very much for being part of the Fellowship. Thank you very much for tuning in for another week, guys. I really appreciate it. And until we meet again, remember, the Force will be with you, always. Remember to live long and prosper. May the odds be ever in your favor, Melanin. And until we meet again, it's Chief Manage. I'll see you around, nerds.